All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to another episode of the Gafford and Brown Show. I'm Lamar Gafford,
I'm Robert Brown.
and tonight we're basically going to go ahead and talk about what's going on in the ESPYS, give you the winners as they keep on going. But we're also going to keep on talking about the NBA free agency, a little bit of the NBA All Star game, the MLB All Star game, and everything else that's also going on in the world of sports today. First, let's start off with this. We're getting a lot more of the free agency and all that stuff here, and basically now we got some teams. All the big pieces and stuff have been moved out, but now we still seeing some key signings here and there, and all that. I mean, we still got some players that are still trying to move around and everything. It looks like we got looks like Brandon Jennings is also saying that he doesn't want to play in Milwaukee, but then again, I don't know if they're trying to how actively are they trying to move him. Where can you see him ending up at next season?
Um, well, I would love to see him in a Lakers jersey, but I have no clue. There are some teams that definitely need a point guard. I thought the Mavericks would lean towards him, but they chose Monte Ellis instead. Well, Monte who can play the two and the one, so a bit of a flex player. But I don't know. I think maybe the Lakers. Um, there aren't too many other good teams I know. Really, they're just. I know Indiana could use a scoring point guard, but I don't think he meshes well with them. Um, I don't know. It's a good question. I would like to see him in LA, but who knows?
Yeah, and I would love to see him try to come back right now. And it looks like, and speaking of LA, it looks like everybody, I think they're trying to build at least a formidable team, a decent team right now that at least is probably going to try to at least get them to next season and hopefully try to get to 2014. But it's going to be decent to see what's going to happen to him. I think Detroit's in the running. They want to try to get a sign and trade going for him. And that would be pretty interesting to see if he goes there. But one of the things here about them is, like, I would be scared for the shot selection between him and Josh Smith, really. I would
Yeah,
be kind of
that's
scared
true.
of that. And I just would think if I'm Detroit, I would probably try to look elsewhere for my point guard. I don't know if they're going to get Rondo or anything. They've been linked about it, but I would try to go elsewhere to go for my point guard. Honestly, outside other than Brandon Jennings.
Right. Now, how do you feel about the Mavs reaching a verbal agreement with Samuel Dallenberg?
I really think that at this point in time, this was the best center that they had that was pretty available. Um, the big names were gone. Dwight, of course, is gone to Houston. Then you had Bynum, who, even though trying to come back from injury, he's now with Cleveland. So with Dallenberg, he's not going to be the offensive presence as maybe as as Dwight or Bynum are, but the guy can be a decent presence on the defensive end. He can give you some blocks here and there. He can also give you some rebounds here and there. And he's, like, I hate to really use the analogy of him being tall, but he's tall. So I think it's not is of course a downgrade from your high hopes of getting the White and getting Bynum, but at least you kind of salvage something right there. And I think that looking at the lineup here that the Mavericks are going to have, you're looking at Calderon at the one, you're looking at Ellis starting at the two, you got Matrix at three, Dirk at four, Dallenberg at five. Then you also got Vince probably coming off the bench to six as a six man. You also got Wayne Ellington. Who knows what could happen with uh Devin Harris, because they're trying to
Reach a new
reach
agreement.
a new agreement with him. And then there's still other players that they're trying to sign back, like Brendan Wright, which a lot of people really would love to see him back in the Mavericks uniform as well. So I think you'll try to at least salvage something right there. I don't know how good are the playoff chances right now. We still got to see how they acting, and we still got to see how they look. But I think they salvage something. What do you think?
I think they have a pretty solid team, enough to make a playoff push, to fight for a low seed. I say right now, I think as far as the 8th seed goes in the West right now, I think it'll be a dogfight between Dallas, the Lakers, and the Timberwolves. And I don't know who I can give the edge to right now, but I think those three teams are going to be in a close competition for the 8th seed.
I think there's still a pretty good chance too. I also would probably throw in the Trailblazers in that mix too, because I really am impressed about how they really look like too. I just think the West is going to be a pretty decent fight. You could really see 12 teams possibly with a shot at least a decent shot of probably making it to the playoffs somehow. I think 3 others that you probably can't see, which I might have to bump up the Pelicans' chances too, but I think that they're a year away. The Kings, I think they're a little bit too young. If they can get rolling in the right direction, I think they'll be back. And then I think the Jazz, I don't like their chances really after losing two of their best big men. So it's going to be an interesting thing to see how it's going to be in the West. I know predicting it right now in July is kind of trivial because, it's a little bit still too far down the road and all that. But right now, as far as on paper, it looks pretty good.
Right. Yeah, but I just think I give those 3 teams the edge because I think Portland's a couple more players away. The Pelicans are still a year or 2 removed. And I think the Lakers, the Mavs, and the Timberwolves have another mix of veterans and some younger talent and pretty solid coaches to make that push.
Right. So I think that there's still a pretty decent chance about this to see what's going to happen. Now, also looking at it too, we have a couple of amnesty moves that we've seen earlier this week, and the first name that really comes off the top of our list is the Lakers officially amnestying Meta World Peace, and it looks like he's going to become a Knick. Now, your thoughts about that?
It's a solid move, it appears. He's from New York, so I can see how it works. They need a defensive guy. I think his shot selection is going to be more. It's going to be better because he's around so many shooters like Carmelo, Novak. I don't even know. Is J.R. Smith coming back?
J.R. Smith is gonna be out for about 3 to 4 months.
Okay, so we have J.R. Smith if he comes back, and so I think his shot selection is going to change. So I see it working in New York for the short term. All he really has to do is just play defense and just be a solid team player. So I think that's going to suit him and New York well.
Right, and he'll be at least the defensive presence coming off the bench here too, because I don't think he doesn't have to worry about starting in New York as like he was in LA, because they actually have some pretty good spots right up there. Unless they want to move, Melo, they try to put Melo at the 4 like they did last season and have Artest at the 3 maybe or something like that. But I think it's a solid move. I mean, it's a win-win. It's a solid move right there. The Knicks had to do something because the Nets were getting all the headlines, but also it gives them at least a hometown pick. And here's the other thing too. I really think that locker room is going to be hella interesting.
Right.
So that's one of those things too. And then I think another one of the amnesty moves that we saw earlier today, or actually earlier today, Mike Miller.
Right.
Now, a lot of people have made the question here, Mike Miller, why did the Heat amnesty Mike Miller over somebody like maybe Joel Anthony? Well, with Mike Miller's contract, you have to think about it like this: you're in the luxury tax. You save $15 million off the books, off the luxury tax by amnestying Mike Miller instead of Joel Anthony here. Now, a lot of teams have already tried to contact Mike Miller. It looks like the Rockets are also going to try to go after him, but there's also a few other teams that are going to try to go after Mike Miller. Where could you see him ending up at?
That's a good question. I think he's obviously going to go to a contender. Who? I'm not really sure. Man, that's a good question. I think maybe the West, maybe out West, I can see him going to maybe a team like, I can see him as a Spur. I can see him a lot of places. That's the tricky part about it.
Mm-hmm.
Golden State maybe. What do you think? Denver? I can see him in Denver.
I think it could be possible in either one of those places. I think I'm trying to look it up right now about Mike Miller, who's trying to go ahead and get him. Like I said, Houston's trying to go ahead and they want to try to get him. The Cavaliers actually have thrown their hats in the ring about Mike Miller. They've inquired that, and I think that would probably be an interesting move right there if they bring him up off the bench. And they could really need his, they could really use his veteran leadership, with him being a veteran and all that stuff, in that locker room with a team full of young guys, and also with Mike Brown coaching them too. I think it would be interesting to see what happens. Like I said, Houston, they could really try to get him. I see they're also trying to go after Marcus Camby. So that's in its own right there is going to be pretty interesting there too. So I don't know. It depends on. And I see he's also considering back surgery too. So it also depends on that.
All right.
So we'll get the chance to see about what's going to happen there and everything. But so far it looks like we got ourselves. Once again, as the free agency turns, it looks like we got ourselves some pretty good moves here and there and all that. And I think right now we've gotten a chance to see a couple of summer league games and stuff. Have you been keeping up with them a little bit?
Yeah, I've read about the current struggles of Shabazz Muhammad, who hasn't been doing particularly too well. His first three summer league games, he's only shot 32.1%. He hasn't scored more than 8 points. It's been a rough start, so hopefully we'll see him, get a feel for it better. Maybe pick up.
Yeah, I think so too. And his struggles kind of remind me a little bit of Ben McLemore's struggles. Because I saw the Kings game against the Mavericks, I think it was Saturday, and McLemore kind of looked a little bit nervous out there. I think he was 4 for 22, 23 out there on the field, and of course, with him being the number one option on the field, on the court, pretty much as most of the time, I would suspect the rookie jitters and all that stuff, and everything. But when I think when the season begins, he'll probably settle down a little bit. He doesn't have to worry about being the number one guy as much because you have, players like Cousins, and then you also have, other players right there too. So I think in due time, these guys would do much better. but they just got to get the feel of the game. They just at least got to break down the wall and all. So, we'll get the chance to see about that.
Right.
Also, we're getting the chance to. We're looking at the ESPYs right now, and we just saw that the guy that won, the person that won best moment in the ESPYs, Jack Hoffman. This guy, the kid from Nebraska, got a chance to win that. So congratulations to him. That was a very good moment right there, and all that. And I think it's still like one of the top plays on the best of the best or something.
Mm-hmm.
So, great chance right there. Great moment, of course, for that. Well, let's try to switch the topics a little bit here first, and we'll go ahead and go on to the baseball, the All-Star game. Did you get a chance to see a little bit of that?
I didn't see any of it, unfortunately.
I think it was a pretty good one. The American League won 3-0. Of course, the American League now gets home field advantage for the World Series. And Mariano Rivera in his last game, in his last All-Star game, wins the MVP in a touching moment.
Yeah, definitely special. It's kind of bittersweet seeing him going on, but it's due time.
Right, and I just really think that he really wanted to come back this year because he said that he did not want his last image of him being carried off on a stretcher. And right now, he really looks like he could play about, I don't know, probably about 2 or 3 more years because he has 30 saves going into the break. Now, the only thing I would have wished that Jim Leland would have done was not have him pitch the 9th inning instead of the 8th inning.
Right.
But it was just all good. I mean, it was just well done. He was in New York City. He gets the inner Sandman comes on and all. And it just overall was a great moment. You win the MVP award, of course, with that. I mean, you just have to give that to him right there. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen in the second half.
Right.
Here with him. And the Yankees look like right now they're at 4th place. If they really want to try to make that push, they're probably going to try to make a deal or something here and there. But we'll see what happens. But right now, that's how it looks. So that is how it looks for right now.
Now, what do you think about what were your thoughts on the home run derby?
I really think that it was well done. It's outside of some people probably thinking about Chris Berman saying back, and all that stuff. It was pretty good. I think we were very entertained about it. Yoenis Cespedes of the Oakland A's won it, and he really put on a show. Did you get a chance to see some of that?
Nah. Unfortunately, I just got off work, so I missed it all.
Oh man. Well, he really did put on a show. Great show. I think he had about 28 home runs overall, and I think my pick coming into the home run derby was Chris Davis or Robinson Cano, Prince Fielder. And Fielder did not do anything. Cano didn't do anything. Davis kind of got hurt during it, and Cespedes with really nothing to lose because he wasn't playing in the All-Star game. Gets the chance, and he ran away with it, and it just was an all-over good thing to see to see about that, and I think this is the best thing that the MLB All-Star Game really has because, of course, everybody loves the long ball and all that.
Right.
So I'll probably go ahead and quiz you on. I'll go ahead and ask for your opinion on this best All-Star competition here between is it the MLB All-Star Game's home run derby, or would you say the slam dunk contest of the NBA?
I would give it to the home run derby lately. Slam dunk contest has been kind of flat since, I'll say, Dwight Howard's 2009 performance has been pretty flat.
Yeah, I kind of have to say the same thing. The past couple of slam dunk contests really have been weak. Who won it last year? Who won it this year?
The guy from the Jazz.
Evans?
Evans, yeah.
See, that's just it tells me right there. Basically, the slam dunk contest has kind of lost a little bit of its pizzazz a little bit. Because I can't even picture who won it. Because I really think the year that Blake Griffin won it, JaVale McGee was kind of robbed from it.
Yeah.
So the last couple of ones have been kind of, snooze fest a little bit, outside of the White winning with the Superman thing. But yeah, gotta give it to the home run derby. We've seen over the past couple of years lots of great performances, long home runs, first round home runs coming in bunches and stuff. Especially with the one Monday, we saw, I guess, the truck. I think the truck that they hit, the promotional truck that they had out there at Citi Field, getting hit on a little bit too much too. So, that's always a good sign right there. But yeah, got to give it to the MLB All-Star Game for that. They know how to do it. I think you got to give them props for that. Now, All-Star games and just in general.
NBA. I'll give it to the NBA. But baseball All-Star games kind of it's been a bit tame to me since they're tied.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's just.
I saw a Deadspin article where I think they had all the recent scores and stuff, and they did not have the 2002 matchup on there.
Wow.
It's crazy. So I probably would have to give it to NBA. Then I probably would say the MLB. Hockey is third place. And hate to say it, NFL, but your Pro Bowl is coming in dead last. Dead last, because nobody really watches it too much. I mean, I think some people do, but nobody really watches the Pro Bowl, to be honest. So, hate to say it, but that's pretty much it all right there. So, but now with the win here, we got the AL getting home field advantage, and I just really hope that one of these days they do away with that home field advantage thing.
Yeah, I don't like the home field advantage. I just like I guess the stakes are a little too high. But maybe there's a way they could make it more interesting without such high stipulations.
Right. I just if there's probably a way, and I think I've tried to think about this lots of different times too. Maybe it could be like one of three. Like you have the team with the best record. This decides one of them. Maybe also if you want to go ahead and try to make it count, then maybe that could be the second part. But I don't know. I forgot what the third part would be and stuff. Interleague play, like whoever had the best record during interleague play, either between the AL and the NL. That would probably be a determinant. So that way you won't have to worry about the All-Star game being the de facto determinant. But I think a lot of people are still going to have some problems with that too. Don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, there's always going to be critics and detractors.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, there's only so much you can do.
It really is. It's just, I guess the players, I understand what Bud Selig wanted to try to do. Ever since the tie, he wanted to try to get people back into the game and all. And I understand the tie probably took away, like you just said, the tie kind of tamed everything away from the All-Star game for the last couple of days, the last couple of years. But you kind of gotta also treat it as an exhibition. It's an exhibition. I mean, that's just the number one part of it. Of course, the different leagues really want to try to do well, and they really want to try to, improve themselves, and they want to try to prove themselves that they have the best league. But it's at the end of the game, it's an exhibition. It's a fun thing. The fans are out there. That's the reason why they have fan voting and stuff like that.
Right.
That's the reason why the managers also try to make it a part of themselves to try to get every single player from the team in there, too. And crazy thing is, I think lost in all this, many people have been talking about the Yasiel Puig phenomenon. I don't think in this All-Star game, not too many people were talking about him too much, about him not being there. So, you gotta. I just think that maybe one of these days, Bud Selig will wise up a little bit. Have it as an exhibition and stuff like that.
Right. And that would definitely help the game and bring new people in.
Oh yeah.
People take it seriously.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I think he's trying to get there about that. And I really think that they missed out a chance in capitalizing in getting Puig into the All-Star game too, because I mean this is a guy that's been really tearing up the field over the last couple of the month that he's been in the big leagues. And they missed the opportunity of doing that. Bruce Bochy, I don't think he wanted him in there because he felt like that he needed more time and stuff. But they really missed the chance in capitalizing that. But, I think they've done a pretty good job of trying to do that over the past couple of times.
Right.
And looks like we got ourselves another SP winner of the best upset Florida Gulf Coast.
Yeah, who's well deserving of it.
Oh yes, definitely. And right now, the coach is up there. I think what's his name at the top of my head, but I think he's gone to USC now. So he's gonna at least try to see if he can parlay their success from small town, from a small conference, small school that's actually just younger than us,
right, to
one of the historic programs a little bit in basketball that's had some success here and there. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does there, and it's also going to be interesting to see what FGCU does going into the next season. So we're going to go ahead and take ourselves a 30-second break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about everybody's favorite SEC college football player. He's been in the news lately, and we're also going to be talking about another figure in the SEC too. This is the Gafford and Brown Show, and we will be right back. All right, we're right back on the air with the Gafford and Brown Show, and now we're going to be talking about Johnny Manziel, which he's had the very interesting past couple of days. Now, I think over the weekend at the Manning camp, he left early because of some things, and many people were speculating what happened, and all that. Well, at SEC Media Days today, he set the record straight. He said that he did oversleep. He wasn't partying, but it was kind of a mutual decision instead of him really getting kicked out and all. Now, I think a lot of people have been talking about his character lately and stuff, but, Your thoughts about this and going forward?
Well, Denzel has become a victim of his own success. He's become a victim of his own hype. I mean, he won the Heisman in his first year playing football. You know, as a starter, he's become a big deal, and it's taken you know an unprecedented turn because no one expected him to be on this path to where he's so I want to say egotistical almost yeah, almost feels as if he's above above the law of college football etiquette or whatever. But I'm shocked to see this, but I think he's still going to get drafted high. I think he's still going to do fairly well in the league. But I'm just shocked at how he's going about it, and I'm anxious to see how next year goes because it seems as if he's more so worried about life after Texas A&M.
Right. And I think that's kind of rubbing people the wrong way. I think I joked about this a whole lot with you, after off the show and to ourselves and all that when we hang out and everything. That it seems like Manziel is really living that Birdman, Money to Blow type that whole spectacle right there. And if you just really listen to the lyrics and everything, it's kind of a little bit like that. But I digress, really. It's just, when you're 20 years old, I mean, I know a lot of people are basically shaking their, wagging their finger at him and stuff like that, saying,
Yeah,
well,
we wouldn't do that.
yeah, like you wouldn't do that, and especially Paul Feinbaum, the guy that's, which a lot of people in the South know him for having one of the better radio shows and saying that, well, his life is spiraling out of control. I don't think his life is really spiraling out of control.
I don't think it's on that.
I mean, he's 20 years old. I mean, you got to look at it like this. The listeners that are probably listening on the show right now are probably around the same age that we are, especially around the college age. And there's some that's younger and some that's older. Then, of course, shout us out too. But I would suspect that, there's a lot of people that when you're in college, you're going to do a lot of stuff that you're probably going to regret, that you probably have regretted and all that stuff. I mean, guy's 20 years old.
Right.
What else is a 20-year-old going to do? I mean, I'm not saying that it's the right thing, but I'm just saying, what else is a 20-year-old going to do?
Right.
Expected he's going to go out to party. Expected that he's going to go out and probably, he might flaunt himself a little bit more because, well, I mean, hey, I'm 20 years old. I'm living young, fast, and free and stuff. So I'm not really going to condescend him for doing such. But I know a lot of people are going to say be careful, and that's what I will say to him. I will say be careful, but I can understand it.
Mm-hmm.
So I can really understand that and all that.
I agree.
So, but it's going to be interesting. What does it do for his draft stock? Which I don't think is going to hurt it at all.
No, I think if he has a solid season, if he comes in close to what he did last year, he'll still be a first round pick.
Right. I'm pretty high on that. I think I would say probably like I see some mock projections having him at in the top 5 probably. And especially with the quarterback class that's out right now, he's probably going to be one of the top few quarterbacks that's going to be taken because you got Boyd from Clemson, and then you also got Bridgewater from Louisville. So, he has a pretty good season. Who knows? He might win the Heisman Trophy again, and here and there. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it's going to hurt his draft stock a little bit. The only thing that's probably going to hurt it a little bit is that him being small. But other than that, nothing.
Right.
Nothing right there. Now, funny that we also go from one SEC icon to another SEC icon. Last week, actually, Marshall Henderson looks like he has been suspended indefinitely by Ole Miss for I think for a positive drug test, I think.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be interesting with him because this is a guy that's came from a little bit of a checkered past. Um, at Utah, he was having some trouble there in Utah. I think he got to a fight once before there. Then he had to go to Texas Tech, and I think he then had to transfer to a JUCO, and now this is where he ends up at Ole Miss, and now it just seems like the trouble keeps on finding him and all that.
Right.
Your thoughts about that situation?
I just think it's getting old. It's getting real old. Antics are getting old. I think they're being tolerated because people think he's somewhat talented, but I just think that it's getting in the way of his actual playing ability and watching him grow and progress as a player. And I don't think it's going to lead to him getting drafted high or drafted at all.
Right. And I've really liked him ever since the SEC tournament, especially with that. And I've seen the antics. I do think that he does need to tone it down a little bit. And the recent mock drafts that I've seen from 2014 on Draft Express and some other NBA sites, they don't have him drafted at all. So it's kind of like he has to prove, with the checkered past, maybe some people are probably going to be a little bit scared and shy to not give him a chance. And I'm pretty sure he'll probably get a chance as an undrafted free agent because somebody's at least going to get the chance to has to at least try to take on the talent here. But he does need to clean it up a little bit. And he really does because nobody really wants to see him do something bad. Now, I think that he's going to be reinstated by Ole Miss, absolutely. It's probably not. I mean, it's going to be before the season. I know that much. So, he's going to get the chance to get that and all. So, we will see about that. But I still think that he's going to be okay, and I still think that he's going to be all right about that. Also, looks like the best male athlete was LeBron James.
No surprise.
I'm not surprised either. He continues to rack up on the awards and all. So, once again, it's just the summer of Bron, and I'm just surprised he didn't, act a fool like he did on his Instagram videos. So yeah, we got that one right there. Some more of the ESPYs that have been going on so far. We've seen Robin Roberts had one of the best moments of her getting, I think, Achievement Award. I think Courage Award or something like that.
The Arthur
Ashe Award, yes. And then Colin Kaepernick winning the best breakthrough athlete. Adrian Peterson winning the best comeback and thanking everybody, especially his cook. And then you also had, we're still waiting on the best team. We're still waiting on some of the other awards too. I think the Jimmy V Award is coming up right now as well. Now, what has been your best moment in sports so far this year?
Gosh, that's a good question. I think I would have to go with Gabby Douglas in the. No, that was last year. This is oh man, that's a hard one. Man, I'm gonna go with. I guess I'll go with Miami. Miami winning the title in Game 7. What about you?
Not a bad choice. I think dang, this is a hard question for me too. I probably would have to go with, dang. If I had to go ahead and choose, maybe the Ravens. I'll go with the Ravens. Seeing Ray Lewis leave out as a champion, I think that's always going to be something that resonates a whole lot to me. Um, it did not look like it was going to happen, but next thing you know, it happened, and there he is. So I had to go with the Ravens, with Miami being a very close second. Game 6 really was the one that had the best of that one, and I think that was the other one that won the best game, Game 6.
Right.
So I think with that, with a lot of things at stake, that won that, and you have to give props to that. So yeah, definitely we've had a lot here. Now, also looking at what's also going on in the world of sports, it looks like NCAA, the video game, is probably going to be no more after this year.
Yeah, I think ESPN is probably going to pick it up. Or 2K Studios, I mean.
It looks like that's possibly going to be it, and we shall see. And I think the reason why the NCAA is ending the deal is mostly because of the lawsuit that's coming up against them for the NCAA not paying the people that are, in parts of the game, which I think once again it just continues to be another thing that the NCAA, I really think that they need to start paying the players. They need to start paying the people that help them out as far as the games and all that.
Right.
I think it's been an ongoing battle ever since. I'm trying to think. Ed O'Bannon of UCLA. I think he was one of the people that. Yeah, don't quote me on this one, but I think he was one of the people that inquired about it and sued the NCAA at first, and then a lot more people starting to get into that and everything. So it's gonna be interesting to see what's going to happen with. I think it's not just going to be football, but it's also going to be the other sports too, unless something really happens. But you've been an avid video game player, I would suspect too. Which NCAA is probably the best for you?
Probably '07. I think Reggie Bush was on the cover of that one. '07 already. That was my favorite one. What about you?
'05. I'm gonna go ahead and say '05. I think that was the first year when that license, the exclusive license.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that was the best time that you had the better video games between them, and also Madden for that instance.
Right.
And I think after that, they just all gone a little bit south since.
Right.
Now, I haven't got a chance to get 14 yet, and I still hope to get that. And I'm actually hoping that they have the exported rosters on there too, because I felt like that's a very important thing to me. I mean, that's one of the things that I really look for. And seeing it happen like that last year kind of hurt my heart. So, hate to have to go about that with this one, but there you go with that. Some more news that's going on in the sports world today, and it looks like Alex Rodriguez is going to return to the Yankees on Monday.
That's good. Hopefully they get over the injury bug. Like Yankees have took some big hits as far as injuries going.
Yeah, they really have. I think they even got a scare a little bit in the All-Star game with Robinson Cano getting hit by the pitch by the Mets pitcher Matt Harvey. But Cano's okay, X-rays up been negative. And it looks like Jeter has started to come back, but Jeter's kind of, I don't know how long he's going to be out for after his first game. He kind of got hurt. The Yankees are in, I think with the Yankees, they're in fourth place in one of the toughest divisions. And I think the biggest issue for them is their health.
Right.
Like if they had some more health, they probably would be doing a whole lot better than they are now. So I don't know if they're going to make a move. Of course, they're the Yankees. They're probably going to try to make a move, like always. But I think in this case, where you have so many players that are like hurt and everything, it might be best for them to kind of not worry about it. You think?
That's a thought. But at the same time, it is the Yankees.
Right. I just don't think that. Yeah, once again, I just think, of course, they're the Yankees. They're going to try to make that big splash here and there too. So we'll see what's going to happen with them. Let's see what else is going on here. And I think we talked about Meta World Peace. I think we're still talking. Let's see here, the Celtics right now, and it looks like I think you've seen. Have you seen the picture of the newest Celtics?
What do you mean?
Marshawn Brooks, Chris Humphries. Well,
I've heard about trade rumors, including Gerald Wallace and Humphries.
yeah, and I have heard that. I have heard that because I think I'm thinking they're either going to buy out Humphries or they're at least going to trade him for somebody else. But here's the picture right here. And keep focus.
They don't look good.
They kind of don't. I think a lot of people were trying to compare him and compare them to
When Kamen and
yeah,
Eric Gordon
Eric
went to New
Gordon.
Orleans.
which that's still going to be an interesting thing. Wait a minute. Is that Craig Sankey?
It
Or is
looks
that
like
somebody
him.
else?
It looks kind of like him. I don't know. It looks a bit like him though.
Wow. Interesting. Also looking at a little bit of summer league here too. I see the Mavericks are up 34-32 against the. I'm trying to see who they're playing against. Trying to see if it's one of these LA teams here. The Clippers. They're playing against the Clippers right now. And like I said, I got a chance to see a little bit of the games too. And I think one player that's really stood out in front of me has been this guy by the name of Josh Akon, I think. He's been playing pretty well and stuff like that. So let me see what else is going on here too. And I continue to also think about Greg Oden. Now, also, since we were talking about Dallenberg going with the Mavericks now, where could you see Oden probably end up at? Still Miami?
Still Miami or Boston. Those are two teams I think he might end up with.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's either going to be one of those two. I think San Antonio is also going to be in the mix as well. He just really needs to go into the situation where he can come off the bench, or he's not required to play a lot of minutes.
Right.
And crazy as it may seem, I see the Pelicans also on his short list too.
Mm-hmm. I didn't see that coming.
Which I didn't see it coming either, and I can understand why they would want him, but then again, I don't know if I would want to go into that situation if I'm him. Because at least I would think that in this case, with everything that he's been going through, he would at least want to try to get a ring, or also maybe try to come back slowly but surely and just show to everybody that, okay, this is what everybody this is what could have been and all that, the potential of me and all that.
Right.
So that's going to be one of the things to get the chance to see here. On that.
Now, what do you think about your Mavs and some of the people they pulled out on? You know, last year they lost Darren Williams. This year, missed out on Dwight Howard. Do you think Cuban is doing the right thing and, kind of gutting his teams and waiting on these big free agents, but they're not landing? Do you think? Well, what's your take on that?
Whew. It's a really tough one. I think as it has gone on now, I would say that I would wish that maybe we could have kept some of the team that we had intact before. Like, I think the first straw was Tyson Chandler.
Right.
And I can understand him not taking the risk past the first year because before he came to the Mavs, Chandler has always been injured here and there too. And if they would have given him the offer, if they probably would have matched, and maybe the price tag was a little bit too high for him, but if they would have probably got a chance to match or here and there or something, I think that would have been a little bit better for some of the things here too. Because honestly, I feel like that was Dirk's best center that he's had ever since he's been in the league. And when you look at the guys that Dirk Nowitzki's been playing with, he has not played with that offensive center like Chandler has been.
Right.
And Chandler has really done a great job with the Knicks over the past 2 years. Nobody really seen it coming. He hasn't been as injured as he was early in the season, early in his career. So the Knicks got themselves a good move, and I think the Mavs missed out on that. Then you also see guys like Jason Terry leave,
Right.
and Jason Kidd leave, and J.J. Barea leave, and all the key main guys that the Mavericks had in that championship season. It is a little bit frustrating to see, the big time free agents say no. Darren Williams first last year, Dwight Howard this year. So I just think that I don't know what is the case. I would just say be patient, but then again, I can understand the frustration. Now, what are your thoughts about that?
I think you guys. I think I understand why he did what he did with the championship team.
Mm-hmm.
I just wonder if he regrets it a bit because he hasn't been able to land any bigger free agents. And I wonder if he's worried because I thought Darren Williams was definitely going to be there. He's from the area,
right?
He's always wanted to play in front of the area, so I thought maybe he would be, ready to come back, but it just didn't happen. And I'm anxious to see if they're going to be able to sign any big free agent next year.
And I think that's going to be a telltale test because we know Dirk is going to. Dirk is going to be, off. Well, Dirk is going to be a free agent. I think he signs. He's going to take a pay cut. So now it's going to be to see who else is going to come along with him. You got LeBron that could opt out. You got Bosh that could also opt out, who ironically is also from the area too. Wade, he might opt out, but I still think he's gonna be a member of Miami Heat. Carmelo can opt out, but that's gonna be interesting to see what's going to happen there, because we're already talking about the Lakers probably trying to get them, and that's gonna be our next question right there. So I just wonder who they're gonna get, and I think the past couple of years are not gonna bode well. But you would think that maybe next season with the bigger crop of free agents, one of them's got to sign with Dallas, right?
I couldn't see Carmelo leaving New York for Dallas. I couldn't see LeBron necessarily going to Dallas. I don't know if he has faith in the market necessarily. But it's a hell of a uphill climb, because Dallas, to me, I consider Dallas a big market, but at the same time, other people may not.
Right. Because I think the only thing that you could really offer here, the no tax, no state tax.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I mean, you gotta look at it. The past couple of years, I mean, ever since the Dirk era of the Dallas Mavericks, I mean, who has been really the biggest free agent signing they've had? I mean, I can't really picture anybody. I mean, I want to go ahead and probably say Jason Terry, maybe.
Jason Terry, yeah, because they got Jason Kidd through a trade.
Right.
Yeah, you're right, Jason Terry. Dallas has always been they're pretty much built the success in their team drafting and trades.
Right. So, and I think that's the testament right there, and that's probably another reason why a lot of people wanted to, would love to see that team that got hot at the right time and still stay together, because it was just a great collection of talent. Dirk had probably one of the best postseason runs in recent memory, if not ever, about that, and that just was one of those things too. I just think, once again, not a big time free agents are not really going to come there, but sometimes they really do a pretty good job of bouncing back and getting the solid picks and stuff like that. But sometimes solid is not going to really work all the time. Now, I do think though that if it wasn't for last season, if it wasn't for Dirk being hurt, I think they would be much better than a 500 team.
Yeah.
Now that I will say, and I think they would make the playoffs, because I think they were like 11 and 20. At one point in time, they were 10 games under 500. And I think they were like 11 and 17 without Dirk. I mean, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So having him in the lineup, I think you would have the swing of at least at least 5 or 6 games. Okay. And you would have won 46, 47 games. I think that's good enough to put yourself in as a 6th seed in the West. And who knows what could have happened then. If you didn't draw San Antonio, or if you didn't draw Oklahoma City, I think you would probably be all right. You play against Denver, you never know what could happen. Things can click again, all that different type of stuff. So there you go.
Right.
Now, I think you also brought up next season, and Lakers look like they already prepped for next season, for trying to get not just LeBron, but also getting Carmelo.
I can't see it. I think that's just too much. I just don't think it's possible. But I think getting LeBron is more realistic than
Right.
Melo. I just don't see Melo leaving New York. I don't see New York letting him go without giving him, the whole castle. But I just can't see him leaving New York. Now LeBron is the X factor. Mm-hmm. I think, if they win another title, he might be thinking, I've won 3 titles in Miami. I've done this, but I've never really gotten that big, huge contract. Mm-hmm. And maybe LA can give him that, and then it's LA.
Right.
So I don't know. It's true, but I highly doubt that they're able to get Carmelo and LeBron and then put them together like 1 year with Kobe, or 2 years, or whatever they give Kobe. So I just don't see that happening.
It's going to be very wishful thinking about them getting sued. I think LeBron is the better chance of them trying to get that. Now, for LeBron, the question would be, why would I help Kobe try to get 6 or 7 rings? Now that might be another issue right there. But I think LeBron has a better chance of going to LA than Carmelo. And most of the reason why here is this: Carmelo made that big fuss and wanted to go back to New York in the first place.
Yeah.
So I can't really see him, unless the Knicks really do something to really piss him off or stuff. I can't really see him, saying, well, you know what? I hate my time in New York. I'm going to help Kobe out and win the championship here. But I think it would be LeBron more than anything else. But I think as our friend Evan Barnes has said a lot of times before too, that I think the main focus may be Kevin Love,
Yeah.
and especially if the Timberwolves do not make it to the playoffs.
Right. Exactly. Who's been vocal about his frustration.
Right. So they don't make it to the playoffs. I mean, who knows? They could luck up. They get Kevin Love, who went to UCLA and who would love to go back into the West Coast, who would love to probably play for a team like the Lakers, and that would really help out. That would really help out that team right there. You could have a team with Love and Kobe, and then you probably can build other pieces around them, and you're right back to where you are. But I think of getting Melo and Kobe and LeBron, that's just really wishful thinking.
Yeah.
And it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It really is not going to happen. And if you think that a lot of people think the NBA is kind of, I don't like to get into these allegations, but
fixed.
Yeah. A lot of people are probably going to go ahead and say that it's probably fixed then, which we know is not. But, a lot of people are going to probably say that right now. I see another thing right here that's comparing Cuban to the Jerry Jones.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that.
I don't think so, really.
No, not yet.
Not yet. Not yet, at least. Not yet, at least. Now, I guess we're just going to look at some of these different things here. Looks like the Lakers are bringing back the old group here. They got Jordan. They're bringing back Jordan Farmar.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess they're just thinking, let's bring back the 2010 squad and see what happens right there. I mean, hey, why not have fun? And I think, what did you think about the Nick Young and Chris Kaman deals?
The Nick Young deal was solid. He's still developing, and he can give you big offensive games, but it's just he's got that J.R. Smith, Jamal Crawford complex when it comes to shooting sometimes.
Right.
So we'll see how that goes.
And then, kind of in a way, I think I like Chris Kaman.
Right.
But don't get me started on Chris Kaman about what happened last year. Right. Do not, because he's a decent center. I mean, he's a pretty good stopgap center, but he kind of looked awful at times last year. But I don't know. Maybe him being back in LA, being back in Los Angeles would really help him out a whole lot too. And he's been one of the nice guys out there. Looking at this right now, who would you say has been the biggest winners of the NBA offseason?
Well, I would go with the Golden State Warriors and the Houston Rockets. What about yourself?
Probably gonna, let's see. Go ahead and say the same thing. The reason why I'm looking at it right now is I see a article on Bleacher Report. I have to go ahead and say the same thing. The Rockets, they got the big guy that they really wanted. They got the big guy that they really wanted, that they really looked for, and that they really coveted in Dwight. And you can't hate what Golden State did. They got better. I mean, they got themselves Andre Iguodala, the guy that can really help out that team and that could really, make them a whole lot better. Maybe another team, though, that really had made a decent move. But I don't think it's going to be an immediate impact. I'd say maybe New Orleans did a decent job this offseason.
Yeah.
I think they took the necessary steps to really put themselves into a position that, if not win now, next year they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. Tyreek Evans is going to be a very nice player for them. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen with Eric Gordon. But I can't hate on New Orleans' deal. Portland had a decent offseason, I think, too, where I think they kind of scrapped from. I think they kind of scrapped from, you know, doing that, but they kind of scrapped from the youth rebuilding moment to now trying to win a little bit now. So I think you got that. Um, I think another interesting one, if I had to choose a team from the East, maybe I kind of didn't want to do this. I think Atlanta had a solid offseason. Maybe the Nets. And I'm not saying that because of them getting Garnett and Pierce, because they get themselves at least some veterans out there. But I think they recently got a AK-47.
Mm.
So him coming off the bench is going to help them out a whole lot too. So we'll see what's going to happen with that. But I think in the case of them winning now, I think they're in the case of having to, if next season, they could be paying a lot in luxury taxes too.
Right.
So I think it's about 70,000. And congratulations to the ESPY winners for the best team, the Miami Heat.
Right. And they've been winning a lot tonight. We've seen LeBron on stage several times.
Oh yes, so we have seen him with his bright suit that he has on right now. But definitely, I think they were the better team of them all. I think they were up against the Alabama football team, the Baltimore Ravens, San Francisco Giants, and I think the Chicago Blackhawks, and I think some other, the Team USA Gymnastics. So I think in this case they got it right. The people got it right about that. A lot of accolades that they done this season. Second, the back-to-back championship that they won. The 27-game winning streak is another thing too, and it's just scary here. But how good do you think they could be next with this season coming up?
Talking about Miami?
Yes.
Ah, man, it's scary, especially if we see they make a couple of moves that they can get Odin if he works out, or any other free agent out there. They have potential to be better, of course. So we'll see.
Good question for you on this one too. Do you think they could probably get that 70-72 win range?
No, I don't think it's gonna happen. I think they could definitely go for a streak again, a winning streak like last year.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe break that record, but I don't think they'll touch the 17.
Yeah, I don't think so too. I think they'll probably be close to like that 66 that they won this season, if not a little bit more. But yeah, I think they have a decent chance. Now, like you said too about that streak, you think they'll probably touch 27 like they did last year?
I think they're capable of it. If without injuries or whatnot.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's also going to be interesting to see because I know the schedule has not come out, but a lot of people are probably thinking about who's probably going to be the first opponent for the ring night.
Right.
Who would you see? If you had to make a case,
I would say Indiana, New York, or the Spurs.
Mm-hmm. Probably would say the same thing. If not Indiana, I wouldn't be mad if it was New York, and I probably wouldn't be mad if it was Chicago. But you never know; they might try to even put Brooklyn in there too.
Right.
So
with the new addition.
Right. Now I know the second half of that doubleheader. I know Houston's probably going to be in the mix in that one.
Right.
But who would you probably see them going against?
Houston.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see them go against Golden State because last year that was one of the best budding rivalries in the league with that whole 3-point.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that would be interesting to see.
Yeah. And I kind of wish they would have got a chance to play against each other this year too. maybe Houston against your Thunder.
That would be interesting, you know.
Maybe that.
The Harden coming back to OKC and all that.
Or when in doubt, I mean, maybe Houston against the Lakers.
Yeah.
But the crazy thing is, I don't think it'll
we
be
might
in
see
LA.
that till Christmas.
Right, we'll see that then. And we'll probably see that in LA, and I'm probably going to go ahead and guess that Mr. Howard is not going to get too much of a high response in LA. I wouldn't think so. At the least. So, we're pretty much going to go ahead and almost wrap up the show with this. Once again, it's been a pretty good one here. We've had, I think this is one of the worst sports days of the year. Nothing is going on. Like, no baseball, no football, no basketball, no hockey, no nothing. Just award shows and everything else like that. So we've done a pretty good job at this. When would you say our next show is going to
be? Sometime.
We'll keep you posted. Yeah. We will definitely keep you posted on that one. A few things that we were also going to try to do too in the month of August. We're going to try to start our NFL previews and stuff too. We'll have a preview each week, I think, of 2 of the different divisions, and we're going to try to bring some people from that representing each and every single one of the divisions. I think the first one that we really want to try to do is the two divisions that made it to the Super Bowl, the AFC North and the NFC West. But we're also going to continue to do 2 a days and 2 a weeks and stuff like that. So I think that's going to be a fun thing that we're going to try to do. Also, we're going to try to get ourselves a fantasy football league going on too. If you have any idea of what league that you probably want us to put it in, either NFL.com or ESPN or Yahoo or any one of those, please let us know. Definitely, I think we'll be giving you the big updates on that one too. I think we want to try to also make the money with it as well, right?
I would like to.
So we're gonna try to do it like that. I think. And this is going to be a very interesting thing, too. I've never been in a money league as far as the fantasy football, but I think it's going to heighten a whole lot instead of having some person in last place sitting out there with an 0-14 record and just doing nothing. But I think it's what a lot of people just remember. In the leagues that I've always been against and Rob here, we've had some wars and stuff like that, and I continue to say that I would love to have another war against you this time, too.
One more time.
I'm still upset at the time that we were in the fantasy football league and you beat me after having a great season.
I think that was the year I had Brady and Welker. I think it was the year before last, and they were like, I think they were fired that year.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it too because I think I won every single game, and I played 2 games against you. One to start off the season, and I think the other time was in the first round of the playoffs, and I lost both. It's like, wow.
I really boy.
And once again, I think as we're looking at Sports Center, people talk about Johnny Manziel here. And look at the Lake Pell, man. But anyway, and just keep up on updates here of the promotionals that we're also going to try to have too. I still got to get you your card, by the way, Evan. So don't think I've forgotten about you. I still have a card inside my house right now, and I'm just going to mail it to you one of these days too. And also, basically, just continue to listen to us and listen to our other programming here with the Gafford and Brown Show. And also national sports, and we're also having a lot of other different hosts and shows and all that different type of stuff. So hit up with the people with them too. But it's pretty much going to be our show tonight. So I'm Lamar Gafford.
I'm Robert Brown.
And once again, saying it's been a pleasure being with you, and it's been a pleasure having you guys listen to us today.